Welcome back to MVM. Today we have a Kickstarter preview. This one is for Taxi Derby. It's a brand new game from Skipshot Games, a 2 to 5 player pick up and deliver game that also has a large degree of push your luck.
Yes, pick up and deliver for sure. Obviously, with a taxi-themed game, you're going to be running around the city picking up clients, but it's also very aggressive. You're going to be trying to do this before the other players do, trying to get in there, getting particular clients, getting them to their destinations, and at the same time, trying not to alert the police, and if you do, outrunning them.
The board's going to be broken into 4 different regions. All these are going to be placed together in a random configuration, meaning that the locations that you're trying to deliver them to, such as the airport or the stadium, are going to be in different locations to start. Each player is also going to have a player board in front of them. This player board is going to represent the color of their taxi company, as well as locations for passengers and a number of different upgrades that you can get through the course of the game. Each player is going to start with one random upgrade. These upgrades come in 4 different types. You have a stereo, because every good car needs a good stereo system. You have a turbo, so you can move around the city a little bit faster. You have Wi-Fi, and then of course you have luxury vehicles. These upgrades come in 3 different levels, from level 1 all the way to level 3. Once you hit level 2 in any one of those, it's going to unlock an ability and give you more coins when you deliver to people that like that in their vehicle. And then level 3 is going to do the same with it, just adding additional money that you can get.
Yeah, and these upgrades are very much tied to the clients that are going to populate the map. Here's what one of those clients looks like. These tiles are going to have a variety of different things on them. But as you can see, there's a name and a client type right across the top. And then below that, you're going to see the money you're going to get for getting this client where they want to go. Over on the left-hand side, there may or may not be an icon that shows the kind of upgrade they're looking for. So for instance, this one shows the Wi-Fi symbol. If I don't have Wi-Fi in my car at all, I can't pick up this client. And if I do have Wi-Fi, at least at level 2 or maybe level 3, and I deliver this client, I'm going to make some more money.
Additionally, a lot of these requirements get more progressive and harder to get. When you look at the board itself, these are stacked in a very particular way at the start of the game. They're going to start off pretty easy. Some of the clients don't need any kind of requirements at all. But as you get to the bottom of these stacks, some of these may require 3 turbo. They may require you to not have any tickets at all. And you're going to be acquiring tickets when you push your luck by trying to outrace the police and get to locations a little bit quicker through the game. All right, so we've already set up the board, and each player is going to start in a very particular location denoted by the color and the location of one of the areas on the game board. The police is going to start right next to the police headquarters. As I said, each player is going to start with one upgrade already pre-built into their car. You're going to place stacks of the different clients around the table, and all these are color-coded on the back. And there is a reference in the rulebook that's going to tell you how many to stack in each one of these areas. When you look at each of these different stacks, you're going to also see locations next to them that tells you where those clients are going to be hanging out, basically waiting to be picked up. In addition to this, you're also going to put an X number of upgrades in all the different shops around the map. There's a number of different shops that you're going to see in various locations. In a 3 and 4 player game, that's 2 upgrades. These are limited in the game. It's a first come, first serve. And each of these different upgrades is going to cost a different amount of money when you go to those locations to acquire them on your car.
Yeah, and while you're going to want to try to do as much as you possibly can on your turn, and we'll get into how the turn works in a second, there are some rules. You can't go and get upgrades for your car when you have clients in your car, obviously. So you're going to have to pick and choose as you drive through the city. Do I want to grab an upgrade so I can go get that client, or should I get this client right here and deliver him first so I can get more money to get those upgrades?
Speaking of money, the game is all about trying to acquire the most money. You have a stack of money and you have some traffic tickets. All right, to start the game, you're allowed to take as many movements as you want. Yes, I said that right. You can move as far across the board as you wish, but there's rules you have to pay attention to, and moving more than an X number of spaces is going to be called speeding. That's when you're going to attract the police. So on your turn, you're always allowed to take up to 4 movements without attracting the police. This is going into the normal speed limits around the board. If you take one of your actions before your 5th movement, you're allowed to take a second action. So let me rephrase that. You're allowed to move as far as you want in the game, but only take 2 actions as long as the first action is done before your 5th movement. Because once you start speeding, the cops are going to be on you. So when you move around, you're going to move along the different road paths. Any of the intersections that you see are not places that you're going to move onto, as well as any of the locations around the outside of the board. Those are off limits as well. So if I'm the green player and I wanted to move 4 spots, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, in any pattern that I so wish. You can even move through other players' cars and land in those locations. Your object is you want to try to land in locations that are going to put you into shops or put you into locations to pick up clients. Those are all marked with the arrows next to the particular areas that you want to move to. So if I was in this area right here, I could shop here. If I was in this area right here, I could pick up this client as long as I met the requirements of having Wi-Fi in my car. So if I've done that action before my 5th movement, I'm allowed to keep moving and taking a second action if I so choose to do so. However, every movement that I take after the 4th one is going to have a multiplier towards the police moving towards me.
Yeah, let's talk about how that police car is going to move, because whether you speed or not, that patrol car is going to move. Now, if you don't speed, you're going to control that police car, and you can move the patrol car in any direction you want, four spaces. However, if you do speed, that patrol car is going to go into pursuit mode, and this is going to happen before you take your potential last action. In this case, you're going to count up those number of movement spaces you took past 4. You're going to roll this die, multiply this by that number, and then another player at the table is allowed to take that patrol car and move it toward you that number of spaces. So you better hope that the patrol car is on the other side of the board if you've gone really, really far past that speed limit.
So let's take that into an example. Say, for instance, I had this client on my board who needed to go to the stadium, and I really wanted to deliver him this turn. I could move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get into a location that I could drop him off. However, I have sped. So before I'm allowed to drop him off, I'm going to attract the policeman. Now, in order to do so, how many spaces over 4 did I move? Just 1. So I'm going to roll the die, and I would get a 1, so the policeman's only going to move 1. 1 times 1 equals 1. So you can see, as you start to move further than 4 spaces, and you possibly roll a 2 or 3 or 4, the policeman can move all the way across the board in order to catch you. And when he does so, you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah, the tickets have a wide range of penalties, but trust us, most of them are penalties. There are a few warnings in this deck. There's going to be paying fees with some of the money you have. If you don't have that money, you might lose some other things. You might get arrested and go to the police station, losing any clients that you have in your car. You could potentially even lose some of those upgrades that you have on your car.
Let's talk about what happens if you are able to deliver them and if you are able to move without the police catching you. The first thing is, if you are able to deliver one of your clients, you're going to collect whatever funds are on the right-hand side. Most of these are just flat out money, but some of them are multipliers, such as the criminals and the agents. The more agents and the more criminals you have, they have multipliers on them. They're going to give you additional money for each one that you've collected beyond the first. Now, if you're able to move all the way across the board and not be able to be captured by the police, you're going to be able to get some end of the game scoring bonuses possibly.
Yeah, so there's this little board right here that we haven't talked about. It has a lot of end of game scoring here, but we're going to look at this one here at the bottom for furthest traveled. If you speed and don't get caught, you're going to be able to move a token of your player color up this little chart. At the end of the game, the person furthest up this chart is going to get $10. Second and third are going to get $6 and $4.
Right. There's a lot of joy in this game from delivering people, but also in the upgrades that you have. The upgrades are one of the most important things you need to consider between your turns of delivering people. These upgrades give you vast abilities, such as moving the patrol car more or less than the 4 spots it would typically move, maybe moving your vehicle up to 5 spots without attracting the police. There's even ones that allow you to buy any of the upgrades for the rest of the game for $1 cheaper. And all of these things that you're accumulating with all of your passengers, your clients, and all the upgrades are going to give you victory points on top of the coins that you've collected at the end of the game, according to this board.
Yeah, you can collect a lot of money during the game. You can plan on spending that money against tickets that you might get and really push your luck trying to move really far. But a lot of these things on this scoreboard are going to be the most types of any client, the most upgrades you have, the least tickets you've received. Those sorts of things are all going to score you points for first, second, and third place.
And you're going to keep playing in this way until 4 of the stacks are gone of clients. When that happens, you're going to go to the end of the game. Each player, including the player that had the round that removed that final client, is going to have 1 more turn, and then you're going to add up all the money that you've collected plus all those bonuses to see whoever has the most money, and that player will win. So that is Taxi Derby. It is from Skipshot Games, a 2 to 5 player game. If you have any questions about it, make them in the comments below. Subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and everything else we do. And we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.